Now that we have entered the second phase of version 2.2, it does mean the very next character to release will be none other than Lucia, which is yet to actually show up in game but is without a doubt going to be one of the most sought after characters, considering the fact that not only is she confirmed to be a premium support, but since it's more or less confirmed that she will be a support dedicated for Rupture characters consisting of Yuzuha and Yedhari. So as a support for our newest role in the game and for characters that are capable of dealing a lot of damage, Lucia is definitely going to be a character a lot of players should consider next version update. So with that said, I'll be going over the materials you would require to prepare for Lucia in advance, team synergies you may want to consider, viable W engines, disk drive builds to utilize, and then for those that are still a bit unsure, whether or not you should summon for Lucia. As always, if you are interested in more ZenlessZoneZero content, would very much appreciate it if you could subscribe and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. But just before we do begin, if you are in need of some additional monochrome so you can secure an upcoming character or two, then you may want to check out this sponsor. Lootbar is a reliable and secure top-up platform that allows you to pick up game currency for an even lower price than in-game. Such as with ZenlessZoneZero, you are able to pick up selected items with up to 23% off. So if you are thinking about picking up some polychromes or even simply just renewing your internet membership, then you may as well pick it up using Lootbar to save some money. All you need to do is head to the website and click on whichever pack you would like to pick up, then fill out your game account UID and server region, choose your preferred payment method, and in a couple of minutes you will receive your polychromes. Also, as usual, the double top-up bonus will be provided even when going through Lootbar, so you aren't missing out. Lastly, as of now, new users are eligible for a 10% off coupon along with a bunch of other coupons for an extra discount. So again, if you are looking for a quick and safer way to pick up discounted game currency than other websites, be sure to check out Lootbar through the link in the description. Kicking this off with the fact Lucia has been confirmed to be a support with the Ether attribute, which means she will require the usual amount of Ether chips and support certification seals to ascend her skills and level. Alongside that, you would require specific materials from both a weekly boss challenge and an expert challenge for the core skill. Though with Lucia, it is a bit unfortunate that the specific materials she will require can only be obtained on the release of version 2.3. So perhaps in preparation for those challenges, it would be best to ensure you don't touch the current weekly challenges in the week of version 2.3's release to then be able to use your weekly attempts on the new challenge. In addition to those, you would require a max of 5 hamster cage passes if you are intending to max out Lucia's skills, along with the usual amount of 3.7 million Dennies with these materials to completely max out Lucia. As for team compositions and Lucia's versatility, considering she is going to be a support for Rupture characters, it means she will be able to synergize with them the most. So one composition in specific would definitely be Yuzuha, Jufufu, and Lucia, which does have potential to be the strongest team in the game since Yuzuha is already up there amongst the best. So especially considering the potential buffs Lucia would provide, such as a massive sheer force bonus, a boost towards HP, and some of the usual support buffs such as a damage increase and perhaps a crit rate or crit damage bonus, it would lead to both Jufufu dealing more damage and Yuzuha dealing significantly more than when alongside any other support. Of course, those alongside the fact Jufufu can deal considerable damage and days on and off field, raises the decibel cap and provides additional decibels to Rupture characters alongside increasing the damage dealt from chain attacks and ultimates, Yuzuha is pretty much going to be completely stacked with various buffs and bonuses to be able to deal a ton of damage. Now, considering not everyone will have that exact composition available since Yuzuha and Jufufu did release back to back, some alternative options for the second position would be Trigger and Pulchra as stun options alongside Astra and Panyanhu for a potential double support composition. But of course, Jufufu will be the most ideal when alongside Yuzuha. Now another composition would of course be one consisting of our newest premium Rupture DPS Yidhari and Lucia alongside various options for the second slot. It goes without saying that having both Yidhari and Lucia won't be achievable for everyone since they are releasing back to back, similar to Yijuan and Jufufu. But if you have saved up and perhaps skipped version 2.2 since it is filled with characters for the Aftershock meta, then you would have a solid chance at picking up both version 2.3 characters which are expected to synergize with each other extremely well. As of now, it has been speculated for Yidhari to be more of a burst rupture damage dealer due to Yijuan being more of a combo DPS that requires a lot of field time, which ultimately means the second position could be occupied by various stun characters, support characters, or perhaps secondary damage dealers such as Minato and Yijuan. Again, this is pure speculation, but possibly having the ability to utilize two rupture DPS characters alongside Lucia could lead to insane levels of DPS. But more than anything will be extremely fun, just like other compositions that do utilize two DPS characters. Now alongside that, you would have the option of utilizing Minato as a main DPS along with Lucia and either a stun character or another support, which would be more of a free-to-play friendly composition for those that don't have Yijuan and aren't intending to pick up Yidhari. But with that said, I'd say it's still best to not expect similar DPS of Yijuan or Yidhari from Minato since he is still an A rank, which means he may be able to clear a lot of content but will definitely struggle more in endgame than S rank DPS characters. Now aside from Rupture characters and considering the fact Lucia will have potential to provide generic support buffs such as a damage increase and a bonus towards either crit rate or crit damage, it means she can definitely step in as a replacement for AstraYao. Perhaps she wouldn't be as great since some of her buffs won't be that valuable for anomaly characters or attackers, but she will still provide great value as a support alternative, and so ultimately means she will have amazing versatility and long-term value. Moving on to W engines, and before anything, the signature option as usual will of course provide the most value, considering not only will it provide certain stat bonuses that have the most impact on Lucia's build and performance, but will likely also provide effects for Lucia's more favored allies being Rupture characters. So considering Lucia will have incredible longevity as a support, it means the signature will be a solid investment that you wouldn't regret since you will be making good use out of it. Though on the other hand, since she is a support, unlike DPS characters that do need the signature more than others since they are carrying the team, the signature for Lucia may not be that much of a must and could be able to use various alternatives similar to Astra and Yuzuha. As for those alternatives, the Elegant Vanity would be a solid S rank alternative, more so due to the passive rather than the main stat, since the passive essentially provides a 20% damage bonus to allies and the equipper with additional energy, which are effects that will certainly benefit the team regardless of it consisting of Rupture characters or attackers. As for the main stat however, which provides a 30% attack bonus, it is best to assume Lucia will scale off anything else aside from attack to avoid being too similar to Astra and for the Elegant Vanity providing too much value as an alternative. So perhaps it will be a bit more difficult to build Lucia and to reach certain stat thresholds, but the Elegant Vanity will still provide solid value towards herself and allies through the passive. Following on from that, the Weeping Cradle and Metanuki Morphosis could also be utilized as alternative options, but they will clearly be far worse since with Yuzuha's signature it's clear to see that it will provide great value only for anomaly characters and is tailored for physical equippers, considering the passive provides a massive anomaly proficiency bonus and the self-damage buff is locked behind dealing physical damage. The Weeping Cradle on the other hand provides a pen ratio main stat which isn't the most useful, but I guess will still provide some value through the passive since it increases energy regen and the squad's damage. As for A rank alternatives, there would be some options such as the Vault, Unfettered Game Ball and Slice of Time, where the first two will provide more value due to the energy regen main stats and passives that provide value towards Rupture characters, whilst the Slice of Time provides a little less due to the pen ratio main stat and passive that doesn't increase damage but will allow allies to generate more decibels for their ultimate. So really, there are a handful of options that can be utilized and should allow Lucia to perform perfectly fine. But of course, if you're looking to gain the most value from her as a support, then the signature will definitely be something to consider. As for disk drive builds, there will as usual be a few combinations of sets you can go with, but considering the recently added disk drive sets, the optimal build does seem a bit straightforward. The Moonlight Lullaby that has released this version update is a fantastic 4-piece set for most support characters including Lucia, since the 2-piece bonus provides an additional 20% energy regen, and with the 4-piece bonus, when the equipper is a support and uses an EX special attack or ultimate, the damage dealt by allies is increased by 18% for 25 seconds. So with the assumption that Lucia's EX special attack will provide a buff for allies just like other premium supports, it does make the 2-piece bonus perfect for allowing quicker activations of the EX special attack. Then with the fact the 4-piece bonus provides a damage increase in specific which will benefit all characters including rupture characters, it very much seems like this set will be the go-to 4-piece set to utilize on Lucia. Of course, the 4-piece set for Swing Jazz can also be utilized since it's pretty similar, and especially since most players likely already have quite a few pieces for this set. But it will obviously provide less value since the Moonlight Lullaby's passive is a bit more easier to activate and will provide a higher damage bonus. Now as for the 2-piece sets to pair with the Moonlight Lullaby, there would be a few options consisting of the Yunkui Tales and the Swing Jazz set. As of now, it's assumed Lucia will be a HP scaler and will specifically provide buffs for her allies that scale off max HP, considering not only is she going to synergize the most with rupture characters, but also since as I mentioned she will scale off something else aside from attack due to Astra, and so HP would make the most sense. So with that being said, the Yunkui Tail set will of course allow Lucia to reach the max HP threshold to allow her buffs to provide the maximum effect. But of course if you do roll enough HP substats, then the Swing Jazz set would be the better 2-piece bonus, since the buffs locked behind the EX special attack will have much better uptime with the additional 20% energy regen. So as usual, it will ultimately depend on the substats you do obtain with the exact build you do utilize. Now with that said, and in terms of the stats you should prioritize on Lucia's disk drives, the 4th and 5th disk drives will likely want HP percent to maximize the buffs she does provide, whilst the final disk drive will want energy regen to enable the EX special attack to be activated much more frequently. As for substats, HP percent and flat HP will most likely be priority, following on with stats such as crit rate, crit damage, pen, and anomaly proficiency. Overall, Lucia is unsurprisingly going to hold an immense amount of value, considering she is going to be a premium support that should have versatility to synergize with various characters, but more so with rupture characters, which will include our anniversary DPS Yuzuha that already performs incredibly well, and so alongside Lucia, the DPS character that majority of players should have will be capable of dealing even more damage and clearing through difficult content much more easily. So with that said, it's not a shock that Lucia will definitely be one of the few characters that can be considered as a must pull, given the value she provides alongside her versatility and incredible longevity. Even if you don't have Yuzuha or don't have intentions of picking up Yidhari, you can still utilize her alongside Minato and will definitely need her for future rupture characters you may want to pull. So ultimately, there's just not much of a reason to avoid picking up Lucia, unless of course you feel like you are capable of clearing all content quite comfortably and do specifically have a stacked AstraYao, which is capable of supporting most teams including rupture compositions. However, if you are looking to enable rupture characters in particular to perform at their best, then it would be a no-brainer to consider picking up Lucia for your account. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would really appreciate it if you could subscribe for more ZenlessZoneZero content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also drop a comment down below on whether you will be picking up Lucia or will you be skipping. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.